Welcome to the new moon in Aquarius reading. We've got 3 cards for us today, and we've got the 9 of Pentacles here, the Fish card, and Jade Act Now Heart Chakra card. So first we want to look at what is new moon in Aquarius. New moon in Aquarius being this drive for an ability to work on things logically, to be able to be detached to some extent from our emotions so that we can dive into ourselves and understand ourselves more deeply and understand our connection to others more deeply, and how we can look out for the highest good of all, because as we move from Aquarius into Pisces, that is the discovery of the connectedness of all things. Pisces is the connectedness. And so when we're in Aquarius, we're moving through this air sign, we're moving through the necessity to understand what our mind is doing, how our mind is playing a role in what we create in the world around us, and how we can all figure out how to get on track with what it is that we want to see in the world, instead of feeling like we're just in the wave of the world and it's completely taking over us. The way that we can do that is through things like this, like paying attention to our heart chakra, like understanding what we're grateful for and how far that we've come, and moving like the fish. So anyways, first let's talk about the 9 of Pentacles. Beautiful card with the 9 pentacles in the center of these feathers, kind of like a soft bed, a nest that these feathers are in, with these reds and oranges behind, which is giving very much the lower chakras, the root chakra and the sacral chakra, our creative center, how we're grounded in this physical reality. This card is really asking you to tap in, to understand that we all have hopefully created some space over this last year, because we didn't have any other choice but to create space, but to understand what it was that we needed and how we could get by with whatever it was that we had, and to find gratitude for any little thing that we do have, because we have plenty to be grateful for. I mean, if you're watching this video, we absolutely have plenty to be grateful for. The fact that we could afford to turn on our phones, the fact that we could afford to have water, the fact that we could afford to have food, to have a home, to have all of these necessities that is not a given to anybody, especially now. I mean, if we're not full of generational wealth, then we could just as easily be on the street or in a hotel room or in a van, just like most other people. We're teetering on this precipice, and we're only being held up by each other. We're being held up by mutual aid. We're being held up by whatever we can share with each other, because the rich people have already said over and over again, we're not giving you shit. $2,000? No, they're not giving us shit. Don't talk to me about April when people are out here literally being kicked out of their houses illegally. Like, there's a lot. There's so much to process. There's so much trauma going on. And really, we still have to keep going, and we still have to find some way to put one foot in front of the other. And this 9 of Pentacles is like, wow, where can you find the positive in all that you've done, and the confidence and the understanding and the grace and care for yourself, so that you can understand that you deserve to be held. You deserve to have what you need to survive and more, what you need to be creative, what you need to know what your passion and purpose is, what you need to be silent and calm enough to hear what your heart has to say to you. And so then we move into this Jade card, and Jade is a strong stone. It's known in many cultures for a lot of things, but one of them is protection, one of them is luck, one of them is just knowing yourself, knowing your dreams, knowing your connectivity to spirit and what spirit has for you. And the heart is your electromagnetic center. And this is a deep green card, so it's speaking right to the heart chakra. And it's really speaking to like, how can you really know what you want to act on? How can you know what is right for you and what you should be investing your energy in and what you shouldn't be investing your energy in? What are the purposes for anything that you do in this life? This is what this Jade card wants you to think about. Wants you to think about, what are you putting your actions into? What are you putting your energy into? Because it's so incredibly important right now that we really pay attention to where our energy is going. Because at this point, like, we don't have much else. Like, we don't have tons of wealth to lean back on. We're at the end of our rope, a lot of people, just trying to find people to help us, when really it should be the people who have all the money who are talking about trickle down economics. This money should have been trickled down to us, but it hasn't. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do together to take care of each other and to understand what it is that our heart wants? Because we have to start somewhere, and the best place to start is within yourself and within the deep understanding. And this is what Aquarius season is, this time to really get to know yourself and get to know how you fit in to the larger puzzle. And the only way that you can do that is being really centered and grounded in yourself and understanding what it is that you need, so that you can communicate that effectively. Because when you're able to really clarify what it is that your heart wants, you're more able to get it. When you're able to feel what it is that your heart wants, you're more able to get it. So we need to focus our energy on the inside and really tend to ourselves as much as possible. And I know that also a lot of people, their energy comes from being together with other people, and it's getting harder and harder to get people to stay totally separate and shut everything down. Yet the problem still persists, that we all have to learn to care about each other. And this country is so sadly really not into that. So how are we going to figure out how to do that, manifest that, so that we can all find some way to survive this? Because it doesn't have to be a mass extinction. It really doesn't. We're just doing this to ourselves because we can't be as empathetic as we need to be and as understanding to the whole as we need to be. We're still so individualistically minded, and that is something that has to be unpacked and pulled apart every single day in every single way. And that on top of surviving capitalism and a bunch of rich people basically wanting us to die. Now the fish fishes are cool animals that are basically in almost every water. Any place that you can find water, you can find fish. And so they're pivotal for life in general. They're amazing creatures that are just cornerstones of earthly reality. And also, we're constantly destroying their habitats, and thus, you destroy one thing, you destroy yourself. But we're taking the symbolism of the fish to understand how to spiritually connect right now. And it's really like moving with the schools, moving with the flow of the waters, or moving against the flow like the salmon do, swimming upstream to get to where you need to go for your spawning season. Like, it's all about fertility, creation, and the necessity to understand our oneness with all, like the oneness with the waters of the earth. The fish are the oneness that are holding whole ecosystems together. It's a necessity for us to care about the water, to care about the fish, to care about the pollution, to care about ourselves. It's all a whole thing. We're going to be leaving Aquarius and moving into Pisces, understanding that we are one whole biosphere, the earth. And the more that we can accept that, the more that we can bring those lessons into our life, and we can make our decisions based on what is for the highest good of all things, Not just all humans, not just all people in our nation, all things. When we can really tie ourselves to that and just move with the flow of the universal waters, we're going to have more fertility, creative juices, our ability to move energy in a fluid way. We can really do this. We can really do this together. And also, I like to, have you ever seen those posters where it's like the shark and it looks big and menacing, but then it's a school of fish and it looks like a bigger and more menacing fish? Because we are more powerful together, we are more protected together, we're going to be more safe and able to handle whatever we need to handle together. If we can learn to work together, if we can learn to understand the importance of each other, the importance of one type of fish and another type of fish across the world, you know? We all have our own importance in our own ecosystems, and it is important to stay focused on our own ecosystems as well as focusing on how our actions in our ecosystems reverberate across the world. And then when we tap into ourselves, we tap into our heart and understand like where we should be acting, where we should be placing our energy, and we give ourselves the grace and the gratitude for how far that we've come, and understand that the more that we tap into our heart, the more we'll be able to utilize our earth energy effectively. When we put these things together, we're going to have more effectiveness as we move into this year of the ox. That's my year. I'm excited because I'm ready to get shit done, like do the year of the ox, like really live that energy. So thank you so much for sitting with me today, and I'll catch ya next full moon.